Hey everybody, welcome back to Thinktwice, the weekly show we talk about things going on in the world of Magic the Gathering, gaming, and pop culture. As always, for episode 34, I'm your host, Justin Parnell, joined by my co-host, Ali Aintrazi.
What's up, Justin?
Oh, well,
how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
How was your weekend?
It was fine. It was fine. It was a weekend.
Just fine?
Yeah, it was just fine. It wasn't too exciting, but that's not always what you're looking for. I did play some board games with some of my friends on Saturday.
Well, that's always fun.
Yeah,
What'd
so
you play?
That was nice. We played a game called Eschaton, which is a deck building game. That's like it's a combination of like a deck building game and Risk. So you're like trying to control territories that give you bonuses for like the resources that your deck gives you. And the point of the game is actually you're trying to curry as much favor as you can with the Dark Lord before the apocalypse happens.
Okay. That sounds fun. I have no idea what that entails, but
so of course I curried the most favor.
Well, you are the Dark Lord.
I know. Well, and I told everyone, I was like, before we started, I'm like, this doesn't seem fair. Like, I'm obviously just gonna win.
This is my game.
Yeah. But we played it one other time before. We were kind of learning the rules, but we played this time, and I just
put the hammer down.
Yeah, I did. The Dark Hammer. That's what the Dark Lord would have wanted. So we played that, and then we played Sheriff of Nottingham, and I got dead last in that one.
Of course, you're no sheriff.
I'm not.
You are no sheriff.
Well, I wasn't the sheriff, but I got so much contraband that it was difficult for me to smuggle my actual goods through. It's just ridiculous. One of the people at the end of the game had gotten no contraband. I'm like, dude, I've gotten more contraband than you have smuggled. I've like drawn more contraband in my hand than you've smuggled real goods through.
I don't know what that means, but
anyway,
I'm not just bad.
You can look it up. That's what I did this weekend. What did you do this weekend?
Well, Saturday I played in the Hex 1K. The Saturday event was a sealed event.
Okay.
I missed top 8 on breakers.
What episode is this? Haven't we?
This always happens, right?
Haven't we heard this story before? And then I usually say something like, maybe they need to re-look at their tournament structure to see if there's the appropriate number of rounds. Then you say, yeah, I know, it just keeps happening, and I think that if I beat the person, and then I beat them, and they get into top 8, did that happen this time, I'm guessing?
I did not make top 8.
No. You beat someone, and then they got top 8 over you.
This time, I don't know what happened. I just know it was the people I lost to both made top 8. Anyways, so then there's one more slot. It doesn't matter. then Sunday, I played in the standard event, which was Hex 1K. Okay. And I made top 8 on breakers. So
Hex giveth and Hex taketh away.
Yeah, so I made top 8 on breakers. At least I'm consistent. I feel like I'm this close. I just need to like get a little better or get a little luckier or a little both, and then like I can just always top 8 every single one. Because I'm always in top 16.
Maybe if they changed their tournament structure where they had the appropriate number of rounds for players, then this wouldn't happen.
Maybe. I wish though, I wish Magic and Hex could just do something with like if you have, I don't know, do something else. It kind of sucks.
What does that even mean?
I mean, getting 9th or 10th or 11th or 12th, and then someone your share record getting 8th or 7th. It's like a feel bad moment. I wish something could be done about that. That wasn't just like tiebreakers. I want to roll for it. You know, I want to roll for it. That's what I want to do.
That is the opposite. You're rolling for it every time. You're literally rolling for it, and you're just losing.
But this way, I feel the dice. It's like, all right, we're rolling it. I high roll, low roll.
It's a digital game. You can't even roll anything. You just be like, click the button.
I just want to click it. I want to say what I got. I want to feel like I'm in control, even though I'm not. It's like I control the RNG, but I don't.
Well, you know what else you were not in control of?
What?
The question of the week last week.
I was not.
Because it quickly spiraled out of control. Now, it's...
yeah.
I will say, I didn't... It wasn't super fair because the question was, is Masters 25 the best Master set? So, of course, I'm pitting Masters 25 against every previous Master set that's ever existed, right? So... maybe the question should have been, is Masters 25 the best Master set, or is another one the best Master set? Either way, it was a landslide victory. No fault of your own. Honestly, if you think about it, Ali.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Now listen. So there's been 6 Master sets.
Okay.
Right? There's been Modern Masters 1. There's been Modern Masters... So Modern Masters 2013, Modern Masters 2015, Modern Masters 2017, Eternal Masters, Iconic Masters, and then Masters 25. Right?
Okay.
So you got, excuse me, 16% of the vote for Masters 25. If you actually look back...
Oh my God.
And you break it down... Masters 25 got 16% of the vote, and all the other Master sets got like 14.5%. If you broke down the 73% that voted for it's no. So in theory,
really
you won.
Thank you. See, this is a friend. This is what a friend does. You know.
You're welcome.
See, you did the math. You broke it down. You're like, all right, you lost, but I want to make you feel better.
But mathematically, you were the winner today. You were the winner.
well, thank you, Parnell. Thank you. That makes me feel special. So thank you.
So I'm ready to move on to our next topic. It's a topic.
It is a topic.
It's a topic. So
it's a hot potato.
A hot topic. So,
but not the store.
not the store. No, they don't. I said it like in a terrible British accent, so it's not quite.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Well,
that's
I mean,
okay,
if I self-identify, then it's fine. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Dominarian elephant in the room. So, there's been some news, Ollie.
There has.
I don't know if you're familiar with said news. Well, I do know that you are familiar.
You do know, yeah.
But I don't know if everyone listening is familiar. Right before we began recording the podcast today, something happened in the world of Magic, and it has displaced the topic that we were going to talk about, and instead, we're going to be talking about what happened today. The release notes for Dominaria were accidentally posted in error on a Chinese website where Wizards meant to post the Masters 25 release notes. So at the time, right now, this very moment, these release notes are out in the wild. And actually, directly before we started filming, Wizards came out and made a statement that basically said, yes, these are the actual release notes for Dominaria. We did it on accident. This is not something that anyone took from us. This was an error that we made, and here it is in English for everyone to look at.
English and other languages I saw.
Every language.
Yeah, it was like, is that song? You dropped a bomb on me, baby. You dropped a bomb on me.
I mean, what really happened is, so someone goofed.
Are you? First of all, are you ignoring my singing? You're just gonna. Wasn't that amazing?
It was a little flap.
Okay. All right. Whatever.
I'm being
I don't want to hear it. Keep going.
I was just gonna say that somebody made a boo boo.
Okay.
And you know what happens when people make boo boos?
You bust out the Band-Aid.
They go in the boo box.
They go in the boo. Okay, so someone's in a boo box.
Yeah, you know what the boo box is, right?
I do not know. Is it a blue box? Is it like the opposite of red box?
It's
a blue box.
A boo box, not blue.
Oh
my gosh!
I don't know what's going on.
You know who knows? Director Choi knows what the boo box is.
The nose knows.
Yeah.
Follow your nose for some Fruit Loops.
Anyway, so somebody got put in the boo box today. And this is different because unlike a lot of previous leaks for full sets, this is not one that. This isn't one that was done maliciously.
Right.
This was something that Wizards did, and that's an important distinction because as we going to have this conversation, I want everyone to keep that in perspective. That this was not something again that was done by other people.
Yeah, it wasn't like a third party.
No.
Before we move on, I'd like to address something. Are you going to tell me what this boo box is?
It's from Hook. It's from the movie Hook.
Okay, but what is it?
When you make a boo-boo, you go in the boo box.
Okay, sure. All right.
And then they fill the boo box with scorpions. But that's a whole different thing.
So someone has scorpions all over them, is what you're saying?
No, you go in the boo box, and then they fill the boo box with scorpions.
That sounds unpleasant.
In this case, they'd put you in the boo box, and then they would put the scorpion god into the boo box with you.
Ooh, he's a tough one to beat.
He is. He's
a tough one to beat.
He defeats plenty of gods, so I'm sure the copy editor in the Wizards Chinese translator website probably not going to stand up against the scorpion god. But I digress. So we've talked about leaks before on the show.
Yeah, we have.
So, do you want? While I'm struggling, not
while you're dying, I'll take over. Okay. So, leaks in general are something that we on the show don't like. It's usually it takes away from people and work and just it's almost like stealing. Imagine last week we asked our fellow ear listeners if they could tweet at Wizards.
We get eyeball listeners this week too.
Eyeball listeners. We asked you guys if you could tweet at Wizards, be like, hey, Thinktwice needs a spotlight card or just any preview card.
We'll literally take anything.
Yeah, even a common, even a basic land.
Even a basic land.
Actually, we'll spoil basic land. Okay. So
if I have to get a basic land, I'm getting a swamp.
Anyways,
I have to get a swamp.
We're digressing, but that has been taken away. Sure, now we can still get a card. But we're not just us. Any content producer can still get a card, but some of the magic is taken away because whatever the card does, at least the art isn't spoiled. So
flavor text isn't spoiled, art isn't spoiled. Yeah.
So you're gonna see this. You're gonna see the flavor text. You're gonna see the art. So that is something that's nice. But the card itself, pound for pound, we will know what it does.
Yeah.
Or if you read the document that Wizards gave out,
the release notes, yeah. Which you and I think we might feel two different ways about it.
How do you feel?
I am in. So I do want to make clear that. As you listening to this, we're not going to talk about cards until they're officially previewed. While the release notes have been released, for lack of a better word, until cards are officially previewed through a channel that Wizards has approved, we're not going to be talking about those cards on this podcast. Despite us having looked at, various levels of these release notes, which do contain a lot of the text of cards. That's not something until we see them through official channels. In this case, it's going to be mostly Wizards because they're going to be as critical as they can in controlling the rest of the flow of information. That's when we'll talk about them and not before. Now, however, obviously we're going to talk about other things about the set because now this is going to be public information and we would be foolish not to. I'm gonna be honest. I've looked at it. I read the whole thing. It's for me. This is Magic is part of my job.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's part of yours too, but it's kind of a different. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, when I heard about it, I actually did not go and look at the leaks. I did not want to. I glanced at it. I saw one card. I was like, okay, this is not for me. I don't want to spoil myself. I don't want to know everything a month or whatever before it comes out. Because then you're just There's nothing to do. I don't know. I feel like it's like opening your present before Christmas. And I don't know, some people like that. I personally like waiting to open my gifts on the holiday, like my birthday or on Christmas. I don't want it before. It kind of steals the magic away.
Yeah, literally magic. Capital M and lowercase m.
Yeah, it takes that away because like spoiler season is like almost like, or sorry, preview season is almost like Christmas. Like
it is.
There's times where like I wake up and I'm like, I grab my phone. I'm like,
oh my gosh, I need to look at this.
What's
new card?
What's the new card?
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly look forward to preview season from be it Wizard of the Coast, or be it something else like a Hearthstone or any card game.
Yeah.
More so than I look forward to like Christmas because like I know my kids love it. I like it because that, but as far as like excitement,
you're a 30-year-old dad. Like Christmas doesn't mean the same to you as it did when you were a kid.
Yeah.
This is your Christmas essentially.
Yeah, it is. I've seeing new cards, seeing new mechanics, new planeswalkers, new abilities, whatever. It's just that's exciting to me.
I will argue that it's more like Hanukkah.
Like Hanukkah. Oh, it's like a
because it's like because like you get a little bit every day. You're not getting like one like big day of presents.
Yeah, no one's dropping. So you're saying you're not dropping a ball on me, baby? Nope. Okay.
No.
All right. By the way, that's a song by the Gap Band. in case you want to look it up.
Like we,
are you still?
Yeah, sorry. I'm just trying to. I've been a little sick, trying to control this cough, and obviously, talking for an hour and a half makes it slightly more difficult to do so. So why don't we talk about what we can say that's not card related for this set? We know that, as we thought before, the tagline for the expansion is "Gather Legends," and
yes.
As we kind of predicted, this set is going to have a lot of legendary creatures and planeswalkers.
A lot.
So much, in
fact, go ahead,
that you're guaranteed one legendary creature in every pack that you get, every booster pack.
So much, in fact, that it leaks onto sorceries.
Yes, and kind of enchantments.
Is that? Yeah,
kind of.
It's weird.
But again, this is. I'm sure this is something we're going to get more into. In the coming weeks. I know that. Here's what what I've looked at the set. It's good. It's a good set.
I have not. I've heard things.
Yeah, you've heard me talk.
I'm kind of tempted to look at it now because like I feel like Wizard says, okay, here it is. So I feel like when I look at it, like
it's different because now they've said we're giving.
They said you can look at it.
To see this.
Exactly. So now I will probably go look at it.
I mean, excuse me. It's this is a set that Richard Garfield himself, the creator,
he came back and helped design it. I do know that I believe there's no inventions or any kind of like Goldie special cards in this set, right?
No idea.
Okay, but don't know yet. But we do know that. We do know that legendary cards are getting a new border too.
Legendary creatures, yes.
Okay, just creatures. Okay.
I believe legendary creatures for sure. Not necessarily all legendary cards, but we don't really know yet.
Okay.
The last duel deck, which is elves versus inventors. Excuse me.
Yep.
We know that Azuri is going to be the face card for the elf.
The elves. Yeah.
But they didn't show us what it looks like.
I wonder,
and that's because it's going to have a new border, and legendary creatures are going to look different.
That's fair. It's crazy to me because I did see one preview card. Or I saw like two or three, but like I'm remembering two specifically. I don't want to talk about too many of them, but I want to talk about one because it was referred to in the Great Designer Search quiz. Wizards had previously made a statement saying that they don't want to print cards like Lightning Bolt or Elvish Mystic because it's too powerful. And they actually changed the Land Elf name to Elvish Mystic because they wanted the card to be more like fantasy, I guess. I'm not sure.
Well,
but it's crazy to me because
Llanowar is a place on Dominaria.
On Dominaria, I know. Which is crazy. So, but anyways, what I'm getting to is Dominaria, the set, has Llanowar elves in it. And that is game changing. That like one mana accelerant is a pretty big deal. Which gives me hope now that maybe a future set will get back rampant growth.
Remains to be seen. I think we should. Yeah, I think we should not talk about any other cards.
Sure, we'll stop.
Yeah, I don't think we should have said that one because we just said we weren't.
I'm sorry,
but
I broke the rule.
You did break the rule.
I got too excited.
Yeah, this is why Ali should look at the rest of the release notes.
Exactly.
See, I looked at them all and I'm able to restrain myself, but you have wild card on Aintrazi over here.
I know, just going off the cuff.
Just pooped it right out of your mouth, and you just
I can't help it. I'm controlled by my emotions. I guess I'm a red mage.
Maybe. So, it's just to how does this make you feel? Like, I guess that's kind of what I want to know. Like when you saw this. Because, like, okay, how did you see it? Like, what did you, like, how did you?
Well, the first thing, honestly, I saw a tweet. It was someone tweeted. I wanted to name names. I guess someone tweeted, "Oh, this is a shame." Here it is. This is a shame. Like here, someone did this, or someone like has leaked or leaked the cards. And it was weird because like they were saying it was a shame, but it was also like sharing the link as well. So it's like,
okay, so the person that said it was a shame was propagating the leak itself.
Anyways, honestly, the first thing I thought was, okay, how long do we have until Dominaria? Like, how long do we have until we start seeing cards being
okay,
previewed?
So today is we're recording on the 8th of March. Do you know when Dominaria previews were supposed to start? April 2nd.
Oof.
That is many moons away.
Yeah, next month basically.
Yes.
You know why they chose April 2nd too? Because you can't have any spoilers on or any previews on April 1st.
That's right, because that's a Sunday.
Okay. But also, back to how it made me feel. It made me feel like I want to see when, like, how long I was going to have to wait before I could play the set, because that's a big deal. Like, I don't want to know everything because, again, the magic dies. Like, knowing everything, and then, like, the set comes out, you're like, I know these cards, cool. But then it makes, like, the next set after Dominaria even further. If that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, the difference, and it will be a long time because it's in July, is when Core Set 2019 will release. I don't like it because it puts people into two distinct camps: people that have looked at the leak and people that haven't. And people that haven't, they feel like they're doing the right thing, and in most cases they are. Now, this was obviously one that Wizards did on their own, on accident, but like you and I are talking, I looked at it, and I'm not trying to make you feel like you should, but just by nature of me knowing information that you didn't know, like that puts you in a terrible position. It's like, well, I feel like I don't have all of the knowledge that I could have, so someone could have an advantage over me in the realm of, what if you're getting ready to buy cards? You're buy a standard deck, and you're like, well, how is this going to, like, do I want to put my money do I want to buy cards now? Like I could be spending my money on cards that I'm going to be able to play for longer once Dominaria releases, or cards that are going to be obsoleted when Dominaria releases. So if I don't look at this, like, I'm doing myself a disservice as a Magic player.
Well, by me not looking at it, I will eventually still have to look at it within like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maximum. Like by 2 weeks, I've looked at it, just because the people, like, if you're a Magic player, you play Magic, and people are going to talk about it. Like,
you can't. You're not going to be able to. You won't be able to escape.
And what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Just like not talk about it? Like, eventually you hear one card, you hear about 2 cards, 3 cards, and then your best friend or your friend will be like, "Hey, so and so is in this set." And you're like, wow, what does it do? I guess, and they tell you, and you're like, okay, now like I just have to, like, everyone's talking about it. Whenever I go play Magic, I have to like make sure like I'm in the corner and not listening, and so you feel left out. So eventually, like, you have to almost like peer pressure to look, and then you do look. Yeah, and I would look eventually. In the beginning, I wouldn't, just because like I know it's not right, but when everyone else is talking about it and doing it, and like you have Twitter, you have Facebook, you have social media, it's just, you're bound to. If you're playing Magic, if you're playing Magic and traveling, or wherever, or you have Magic friends, you're bound to have the urge to look at it and have to look at it.
Are you gonna cut yourself off from, like, if you're someone that is like completely inundated in Magic, are you just gonna cut yourself off from social media or going to your local game store or having a conversation with your friends? Like, this is, it's just so unfortunate, because it's like it almost forces you to do this. Even if you don't want to. I don't want this. Like, I wish this didn't happen. I want to organically get all these previews. I want to be told the story. I want them to weave this beautiful tapestry of previews so I can have an emotional response to this set, which looks awesome. And the thing is, I don't think there's been a set in the last 10 years, maybe longer, that I think they would have less liked this to happen to.
Oh yeah, this is a historic set. It's up.
Yeah. Oh, by a lot of different metrics, this is going to be a historic set.
Oh yeah, this is bigger than Return to Ravnica. This is huge,
massively.
Yeah,
and I can only imagine all of the awesome stuff. This is Magic's 25th anniversary, and you're having a set that you're returning to. The thing that has been looked forward to the most for all of Magic players worldwide. And then it gets, somebody clicks the wrong key and everything.
The wrong button. It's like
goes up in smoke.
The bomb is dropped by the.
Yeah, someone dropped the bomb on it.
Like the Gap Band.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're in the boo box. They dropped the bomb.
The Scorpion got it. I heard that too.
Yeah.
But that being said, when I was younger, these things were like candy to me. Like I wasn't aware of, like, I was selfish. I was like, spoilers or leaks. Yeah, let me look. I don't care.
And you kind of rooted for him. You're like, I want to know as much as possible. I don't care what it affects. Like, I don't care about spoiler season. Well, I just want to know. I just want to know.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. I mean, I want to know. But as you get older, you realize that, like, this is like someone's work. Like,
health of the game is important.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's people that have no idea what we're talking about, and others are like, "Yeah, I agree with you guys."
I guess it just
and I can understand both sides, honestly. Like, I can understand someone wanting to look, and I can understand someone not wanting to look, and I can actually. They both have positives, and both have negatives, and I can understand both of them. So, like, it's not.
I don't fault anyone for if this is out. If this is public information, and at this point that it is, even before Wizards made a statement on it, this is still out in the public. Like, it's different. It's different if you're taking this and you're sharing it before anyone else has. But if it's just out there, like, I can't fault you. I can't fault you if you want to. Even I don't know. It's like I'm in the camp, like, personally, of, like, if it's out there, I'm gonna look at it. I'm never gonna go search for it. But if it's placed in front of me, and I saw this on Reddit. Okay. If it's placed in front of me, I'm not gonna not look. I'm not gonna, like, I better not click on that. It's just like, if this is public information, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you've downloaded Web of Trust, one of the 10 apps we talked about last time. So you're like, hey, this website's safe. I click on it, and there you go.
Yeah,
it's safe site, and you see all previews.
I don't know. I don't know. Ollie, do you have any other feelings on the events that happened today regarding this accidental button press by a former Wizards employee?
No. All I gotta say is poop emoji happens, and all you can do is do the best you can.
Yep, and poop still rolls downhill.
That is.
And that's what's happening right now.
Okay.
I still trust Wizards to be able to put together something meaningful for this set. We still don't know any of the art. We still don't know any of the flavor text. We don't know what the new card frame for Legendary stuff looks like. I think there's a lot. We don't know if there's masterpieces in the set or not. I actually think that there are going to be, but if I were them, I certainly wouldn't say that now. I would definitely wait.
Absolutely. So we'll see. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, we will see. Okay. I think that kind of wraps it up on Dominaria for us. Anything else, Ali? Last chance?
Nope.
Before we never talk about it again? I'm just kidding. We'll probably talk about it.
No. I better stop before I
start saying other cards?
Yep.
Yeah, don't say it. Okay. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, StoryCircle to Teferi. Ollie, last week we talked about Karn. We went through his beginnings, his middles, where he ended up before now.
And his sombreros. His Liberice and his wrestling days.
It's what is the Spanish version of Karn Liberated?
Liberice? Karn Liberice?
I don't think it's something.
Liberato?
I don't know. We're delving into we just don't know enough, so we should probably stop making jokes. Either way, this week, much like Karn, we're going to be diving into Teferi, his past, his present, his past again, his future, and then his present. Because that's how it
was. Karn, Liberato.
Okay.
Liberato. Okay.
So Ollie, why don't you did such a good job last week telling us about Karn.
I did?
You did a fantastic job. That's what everyone that I talked to said.
Okay. That's good. I feel better.
100% of the people that I specifically asked about the podcast, and you're...
Oh, man. How many did you ask? Like 0?
No, it was a non-zero. I give you it was between 1 and 100 people, but all of them said you did a great job.
I'm going to go with 100.
And all of them said you did a great job.
Awesome. Okay. That means, man, Parnell, you are like, make me feel good.
You're doing great, you know?
All right.
You're doing great,
thanks, buddy. Thank you. Okay. So Teferi, he was basically a gifted student that Urza saw. And Urza took him under his wing. He was like, hey, come to the academy, come to the Tolarian Academy, where we teach mages and people with magic and just people that Urza thought were capable of fighting the Phyrexians. He wanted to teach them at Tolarian Academy.
Because, of course, everything that Urza wanted to do consumed him by making sure he could fight the Phyrexian, even using children. What a guy.
He would, yes. It was a means to, everything was a means to an end.
That's right.
He had a goal. Yes, so Teferi goes there. Teferi was a prankster as a young child. People didn't really take him seriously in the beginning. So if he met you or if he wanted to befriend you, he would prank you and he would joke around with you.
And he'd make me pay one more for my spells or he'd counter them.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like, are you trying to be my friend or not, Teferi? What are you doing? So it was hard for him to befriend. He did this with Joria.
Yeah. And
eventually they became friends, but this is how it started. But anyways, Teferi is basically at the academy to fight the Phyrexians. As time goes on, he obviously gets better with his magic, and he befriends Joria and Karn and basically the whole with Light crew. And then Teferi also is his homeland or his hometown, home area is called Zhalfir.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, we never really figure out how he gets the spark, but we know he gets it. We know he gets it, and he doesn't know he's actually a planeswalker for a little while. But after he knows he's planeswalker,
all he knows is his magical abilities. He thinks he's just getting better at with stuff, wizardy stuff.
Yeah, but he's actually ignited somehow. Yeah, and so he's basically just doing all this and learns that he can planeswalk to other planes. He wants to do this. So before he does this, though, he decides to set up little tiny guilds on Zhalfir so that people won't wage war. He makes a guild for of shadows, a guild of whatever. There's 7 of them, and he's like, are you guys basically make sure no war happens, checks and balances type deal. I'm gonna go away for a while. I'm gonna explore. All right, peace.
So basically, like Wakanda.
Basically like Wakanda. And then, like Wakanda, well, hold on, actually, Civil War happened. The tribes fought each other. Because like they saw one being unfairly advantaged, and like he's like, Teferi gave you guys access over.
You got this. We want
these
that,
rocks.
so
All
we're
the
going to kill
rocks
you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
classic story.
Yeah. So basically, eventually, Teferi comes back from his travels. Like, oh my gosh, everyone's fighting. How can I stop this? He finds a girl who has royal blood, which becomes sorry if I mispronounce this, Queen Yormeba. It's Yormeba. Yormeba. Anyways, he crowns her and he like makes sure she's ready to be a queen, and she brings peace to the land, but it's not it's like everyone's peaceful. Like everyone's like, okay, we have like a peace agreement, but no one's like, it's not unified yet. It's not like a one big happy family. It's like, we will peace treaty basically.
They're basically agreeing to not kill each other for the sake of not killing each other, but that's really it.
Yeah, basically that. And then Teferi, that happens. Teferi is still doing Urza things, and eventually Teferi's like, you know what, Urza, I don't have to help you. I don't want to help you. The Phyrexian is your fight. I don't want to be part of it. I'm actually going to do something else. And he's like, he asks. Teferi starts like planeswalking back and forth between a place and like another place really quickly. He's like, Urza, help me do this. And Urza's like, what are you doing? And Teferi keeps doing this. And what he's doing is he's gathering energy from like planeswalking so fast or so much that he's creating this like this phasing spell. This is what we know as in cards as phasing.
Yes. So
he's able to gather all this energy, and as he's wielding a spell, Urza sees what he's doing. He's like, Teferi, stop.
Wait a second.
He's like, stop. We need everybody we can to fight the Phyrexians, even villagers. And Teferi's like, old man, be quiet. And then he just like releases this phasing spell, which phases not only his Zalfir, but also Jamora, where northwestern Jamora, where northwestern Jamora and part of Shiv, the part of Shiv that Joria was in. He does this to save them from the Phyrexians. The Phyrexians can't get involved with them. They basically just essentially phased out.
Yep.
And that's what he does.
So, and of course, like in Magic, you can't interact with something when it's phased out.
Correct.
Now, of course, the issue is it phases back in or it doesn't.
Yeah, but in the story, Teferi controls when it phases back in. It's not during upkeep or whatever.
Well, sure.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
And this specific part of the story is one of many examples. Teferi is he's contrarian. He basically, I don't want to say he wants to disagree with everyone, but he questions everything. He questions when he was a student. He questioned Baron, who was a teacher at the Tolarian Academy. He constantly questions Urza. He has questioned Karn, Joyra, essentially anyone he's been in contact with that he feels like he wants to know more. It comes from a good place because Teferi ultimately, despite being a terrible student, is an excellent student of knowledge, and that's what one of his primary focuses is, even if it's not necessarily shown in the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. He means well, and his heart is in the right. His heart and head are in the right place for the most part. Yeah.
Probably didn't help him hanging around Urza, who, as we have said multiple times before, is a pretty crappy dude. Yeah,
but he did get the job done.
He did. He's still a good guy. If I had to place him as a good guy or a bad guy, he's still a good guy, obviously. But as a human being, I'm not. I wouldn't want to go hang out with Urza, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because you'd be a pawn. You'd be a piece. It means to an end, basically.
Yes, just like everything else. Okay, so back to Teferi.
All right, so Teferi has these lands phased out, Jamora and Shiv, and part of the storyline is we see him again during the Corona storyline, where Corona's walking through Dominaria and she's like trying to find beings like her and understand what she is and what she can do. Apparently she pulls, or someone sees her pull Teferi out of the phase and talk to him. And then after she learns that he's not like her, or they're not that much alike, Teferi goes back. But when Teferi actually phases himself out, he comes back and he's like shocked that there's no Phyrexians. And he talks to one of the I'm not sure if it's one of the elders. I'm not sure if it's Yavimaya or who it is, but I know he talks to the nature elder.
Well,
he's like,
Yavimaya is just a place.
He talks to one of the nature, not Waltani. But anyways, it's one of the people. He's like, hey, the Phyrexians are gone, but there's a little magic. Like what's going on? Like, oh, we saw you talking to Krona. He's like, no, I never talked to Krona. That's not true. Which is weird. Which Krona's storyline is weird too.
Yeah, a little inconsistent here.
Yeah. But anyways, he finds out that they won against the Phyrexians, and then he's like, okay, won against Phyrexians. Now, should I unphase Shiv and Jamora? Should I bring them back into
Should I phase everything
Dominaria?
Back in?
Yes. That's what he wonders. So, eventually what happens, he talks to Joria. Joria? That's her name?
Joyra.
He talks to Joyra. They agree to come back. So, Teferi and Joyra return to Dominaria and restore Shiv and Jamora and Zhalfir all back. Eventually, Teferi has a battle with Nicol Bolas. He loses that battle, but Bolas does not kill him because, I mean, Bolas has no reason to kill him because he imagines everyone's a pawn eventually some way. There's no reason to kill something that can't damage you. They can maybe use in some way or some form.
That's right. He does, however, do his best to shred Teferi's mind.
Yes. You want to elaborate on that, or just in the battle?
Yeah, I mean that's essentially essentially after they fight. Obviously, Teferi is a planeswalker at that time. Bolas, and again, this is pre-mending, so Bolas, extremely powerful planeswalker.
Yes.
Honestly, their encounter is not too dissimilar from Bolas's encounter with Jace at the end of our Devastation.
Okay. But anyways, Bolas has one of his many abilities, or one of his natural abilities is his inability to touch you and like mind shatter you. Anyways, he tries to mind shatter. Teferi doesn't happen. But anyways, after Teferi loses the battle, he's like, okay. He realizes there's a bunch of time rifts everywhere, and he gives up his spark to save up his homeland. He seals a time rift over Shiv, which is able to restore it to like rightful form and bring it back into Dominaria. And now he's like, he can't planeswalk anymore. He's still a powerful mage, but obviously he loses his spark. He can't planeswalk from that point, from what we know.
Now, I want to jump around a little bit because it's necessary for Teferi's story that we do so.
Sure.
So during the time, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult for us to line all of the timings up of everything that happened. The nature of the story is kind of it's disjointed because a lot of different people were telling it, and this was, almost 20 years ago when this story was initially being told.
Yeah, and story back. Yeah.
So at some point during the time when that Teferi and Joyra were at the Tolarian Academy, in a singular timeline, the Phyrexians actually attacked Tolarian Academy and killed Teferi and Joyra.
Yep.
Now, this is not really ironically, this isn't really much part of Teferi's story or Jory's story. This is actually Karn's story because Karn, as we covered last week, is actually the one that went back in time after he was created in that timeline by Urza. So Teferi doesn't actually know that he died in any timeline.
No.
So the Teferi that we know could be in some point different than the Teferi that was killed, but also in the same way, we know that time is weird, so there always is potential for some sort of crossover between people that have interacted with time in strange ways. Teferi, of course, being one of the primary characters that have done so.
Yeah. So when Karn time traveled in the time machine. He did save Teferi and Jorah, but the time machine basically overheated and exploded, killing a bunch of people in the academy anyways. It also unleashed like a wave of like time rifts and time bubbles. There were quick time bubbles and slow time bubbles. Yeah. And Teferi's actually trapped in a slow time bubble where everything moved like a lot slower. I remember one time reading something about Jorah actually throwing a web blanket into the time bubble for Teferi, and he actually he gets it 5 years later to put himself out. Obviously, in his time, he like gets it instantaneously, but people outside the bubble see it as 5 years later. So in order to get him out, Jorah, obviously very good with math and magic and time, figured out a way that she can like connect the rifts, or basically a way where her and Urza can go in and pull Teferi out of the slow time bubble, and they do. And when he comes out, he's like, when he first comes out, he's like very depressed. He's like, man, why are all my friends older and like so many people dead? Like what's going on?
Except for Jorah and Karn, who essentially never age.
Right, but everyone else has aged, and it's because he was in a slow time bubble. So it was weird, man. Like I remember reading the Brothers' Wars, and there were time bubbles where Phyrexians were in a fast time bubble, and they actually had to destroy the time bubble because the Phyrexians were developing so fast and learning so much and making so many more Phyrexians that if that time bubble ever got like undone, there'd be like 1 million Phyrexians alive, there.
Yeah, they would just be able to immediately conquer them.
Yeah, it was the time rifts were a big deal and a big problem, obviously.
Yes. So where were we back in present day? So we talked about Teferi interacting with Corona, then having his battle against Bolus.
Bolus, yeah.
Bolus essentially shredding Teferi's mind to a degree, and it is at that point when Teferi ultimately ceased being a planeswalker by giving up his spark to heal the time rift over Shiv, which was one of the last ones on Dominaria. And of course, this is during the events immediately before the mending during time spiral block.
Yeah.
Now, there's two things that we know about Teferi, because that's the last that we've heard of him. One, Teferi, due to him being a planeswalker, he didn't really age in a natural way, in a way that a lot of the characters that we've talked about recently, Karn and Jorah, obviously haven't either. Karn for being really something that doesn't age, and then
a golem,
yeah, and Jorah essentially aging so slowly that she might as well not age at all. So this isn't something we actually covered last week, because for Karn it wasn't as important. Karn's not going to age regardless. He's kind of he's going to go about and do his thing and live for as long as he's going to live.
Yep.
Teferi's different. Teferi's now mortal. He's not a planeswalker. Planeswalkers at one point before the mending were godlike. They didn't really age. They couldn't die. They could really only be killed by other planeswalkers.
Yep.
But at the end of Time Spiral, Teferi essentially ceased being a planeswalker to make sure that that mana could flow freely through the multiverse by stealing the time rift over Dominaria. That was 60 years ago. We know this from the stories on Kaladesh, because that is actually when the Great Ether influx happened on Kaladesh. So the events of Time Spiral were 60 years ago to present day. So in theory, it's been 60 years since we've seen Teferi in Magic Story. Now, we don't know. One, we don't know that time is working the same on Dominaria as it is in the rest of the multiverse. In fact, we almost can say for sure that it's not. Time has affected Dominaria in so many significant ways over the entire lifespan of the plane that most likely there's something weird going on, and it's probably causing the denizens of the plane to to age in non-traditional ways. There's other characters, obviously, that we think we're going to be encountering other than Joyra and Karn, Jai Ballard.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the end of the last Magic story, we're pretty sure that Jaya was on the Weatherlight with Gideon when Jace planeswalked to meet them there.
Yep.
Joya, combining everyone's names, Jaya obviously has also been alive and been a planeswalker previously, but is not. Excuse me. We're not as we don't have as much information about her story, especially the end of her story, as we might have previously had. But she most likely is still aging since the mending, just like Teferi, even though his mending came slightly before the other mending, since he lost a spark anyway.
Yeah, they have both aged somewhat.
Yes.
They're not dead.
So
6 years is a long time.
That's right. 60 years is a long time, but essentially, Teferi has been in his prime for 1,000 years, over 1,000 years on Dominaria, and we're now meeting him 60 years later, 60 years in real time for mortal time later. What do we think we're gonna get? What do we think we're gonna get out of Teferi?
I don't know. I wonder if we can get. I wonder if a planeswalker can get their spark back. Traditionally, they couldn't. There's no way anyone could. Multiple people have tried to transfer sparks from a planeswalker to themselves.
Yep.
And have failed. But we have seen Venser give his spark away to another planeswalker that had a spark.
Mm-hmm.
So. But he also had the power of teleportation. So I don't know. I wonder if I'm curious now if Teferi is a planeswalker or can become a planeswalker again. So I'm curious about that.
Well, I think we know that at Toy Fair earlier, well, I guess in February, they did show that Chandra and Teferi were the planeswalker deck cards.
Okay, so he's a planeswalker again?
We don't know.
Yeah.
We know that he's been a planeswalker, and he gave up his
sure.
He gave up his spark not to another living thing. He gave it up as a source of power because he needed a great deal of power to close a temporal rift. Does that mean that that's gone forever? Does that mean that temporal rift is open and maybe he's got his spark back?
I don't know. What way to find out?
That's right.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I was going to say Magic Story comes back next week.
That's exciting.
Yes, it is very exciting. So even though obviously in our first segment we talked about the accidental leaks from Dominaria. I'm sure there's some clues in there if you want to go and look through that. But we will start getting the full story next week. I'm super pumped to see where we for the story in its entirety, but even more so at the beginning. I almost don't even care who we're starting with because I really like you know the different narratives that we've gotten through the kind of the point of view of some of the different characters. So whoever we start with, I'm in.
Me too. I've been missing it, man. Every Wednesday it's like, where's the story?
Yeah.
I miss it, so I'm glad it's coming back.
Me too.
I'm excited for that.
It's not been too long. I'm glad we didn't have to wait too far. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our kind of single character spotlight story circle segments. In between Magic stories, these are definitely things we like to do. So if you guys like to see this and hear this type of stuff, let us know. This is something that we like doing, but we want to make sure that this is connecting with you guys, our viewers and listeners. So if you want to hear more Story Circle when we have time, please let us know. If not, let us know what you'd like to hear. We obviously like to use our, this space in our podcast for Magic Story. So if you want to hear something different, let us know and we can try to oblige.
Yeah. Tweet at us. Twitterverse.
That's right. You know how to reach us at Justin Parnell 1, at Ali Aintrazi, at Thinktwice MTG on Twitter. Ali, anything else on Teferi before we move on?
I am done with this time mage.
Okay. Well, he's not done with you. That's how time mages work.
No. It's true.
we are going to take a quick break, but before I go, I want to throw up a spoiler warning. I think Director Choi puts in the sirens. Do you hear them? Great.
Yep.
Anyway,
there they go.
Spoiler warning for our next segment, because we're going to be talking about the action thriller Annihilation.
It's destroying everything.
It's not destroying. It's making something new.
Ollie, we both watched a movie over the last week, and this is a movie that is difficult to describe. Obviously, we're talking about Annihilation, which is the sci-fi action thriller starring Natalie Portman. And there's kind of a lot going on. It's difficult. So normally we kind of run down the story.
Yeah.
But
this one you can't really.
Yeah. So again, I want to throw up another spoiler warning, because we're literally going to smash through the spoiler wall in about 30 seconds. To
be fair, even though we're going to talk about it, we have like no firm answers. No one does. So.
Which is true. Which is the strength of a movie, but also if you listen, you will spoil stuff that you wish that you just also didn't know, even though we don't know. Anyway, stop if you haven't watched it. Please, please continue if you have, because we would love some answers.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Come back and listen.
That's right. Okay. All right. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. What happened?
Shimmer down low. Okay, so a rainbow meteor type thing, like flying from space, hits the lighthouse, and sends a rainbow energy type field around the lighthouse.
Yep.
And over time, this field of energy and rainbowness called the shimmer begins to expand.
Capital T, capital S.
Very, very slowly.
Yes.
We learned that anything inside the shimmer, inside this zone, is diffracted, like basically down to a molecular level.
So DNA, much like light, is literally refract on every living thing inside the shimmer.
Yes. Yes. Everything is refracted. I actually even believe time is refracted in the shimmer as well.
I think there is a lot of evidence for that, yes.
Yes, so like everything is. And it basically like it's making there's like trees are half tree, half plant.
Half
plants that are
half plant, half person.
Yeah, yes. There's walls that are half wall, half human, or quarter, whatever. And there's all kinds of species that are being mixed. There's also like trees or bushes growing like to human forms because of the DNA being diffracted. It's actually really cool. But anyways, so what the guy's name is? What's his name? Bob Joe.
The what? The first soldier that okay, so the main character.
No one made out of shimmer except this one soldier. This one soldier is made out.
Yes, Kane, who is the husband of Natalie Portman's character,
Lena.
Yes. So Kane comes back. He's super weirded out. He doesn't know what's going on. He's been gone for a year. He didn't tell Lena where he was going before. And he comes back and he's very distant. It's like he almost doesn't know where he is or who she is or who he is.
Yeah.
He's very sick also. Obviously, we know as we continue to see the movie, it messes with your insides, this shimmer business.
Yes. Well, you're being diffracted to multiple.
Diffracted and refracted.
Yes.
Ultimately, so it's like I almost don't know where to begin on the discussion on this. So I'm just going to kind of dive in. Ollie, normally we have show notes for the podcast, obviously, because we try to prepare like adults. I didn't write any show notes for Annihilation because I kind of just want to like have a free-flowing conversation, which of course Director Choi is going to just despise. But here we are. So I think I agree. I'm glad you brought up the time, because I do think that time is also refracted, or at least maybe not necessarily time, but at least times as a construct that man can understand.
Yes. Yep.
Because when the team goes into the Shimmer, they don't know how long they've been there. At any point, no point do they realize how long they've been there, but even the first day, within minutes, they wake up and realize, based on their rations, they've been there 3 or 4 days. And they can't even remember anything outside of the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was going to say, this reminds me a little bit of... this is like the thematic reference I'm going to make for this. It might remind me a little bit of Emrakul, because Emrakul's power is to mutate and combine and evolve in her regard. Like you see humans with extra thumbs and genes being, Emrakul tentacles and stuff.
Tentacled, yeah.
Yeah, so like this kind of like in the beginning it reminded me of Emrakul a lot, which was kind of like kind of cool.
I will say the bear is freaking terrifying.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. So yes, the bear, the bear in quotes, whatever this thing was. Yeah,
I mean it was a bear. At least it was initially a bear.
Yeah, initially a bear that adopted the death of the girl he killed in the movie, so that he could whenever he growled, it wasn't a growl, it was more of a cry for help.
It looked outrageously creepy because it was like bony face, like a skull face.
Yeah,
it was still like a bellow that the bear was doing, but it was also like the scream that I think Stephanie was the name of the character that got basically just murdered at some point earlier in the movie.
Mauled, yeah, she got mauled.
And this is kind of this is before the movie clicked for me. I was like, oh man, I'm really smart, because I figured out what I thought was happening, but then they said it literally 3 seconds later.
Yeah.
When they get to the part with the flower people, or the flowers,
the trees,
the flowers, that had
the bushes type deal growing to human shapes of humans.
Exactly. And when she was looking at it and talking about how it looked like everything was growing in the same thing, I was like, wait, everything is the same. And then she literally said it as I was finishing my thought, and I was like, okay, well, at least I was on the right track.
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know, where do you want to go next? Where do you want to go next in this discussion?
I mean, I'm fine going anywhere.
I kind of want to.
I kind of jump to the
end. Okay, let's jump to the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What do you think happened at the end?
Okay. You mean when she gets to the lighthouse?
Open ended. You tell me.
We don't know what happens to the girl that was like, you know what? There's one girl that was like, okay, I'm accepting all this. As she's walking away, you see her plants growing out of her. She's basically becoming. She accepts this. She accepts this as natural, whatever.
Yes.
We don't know if she turns into a bush or if she just, I don't know. She's gone. And then, do you have any theories on her?
Yes, but they're all my entire theory for everyone is connected. So I'll let you.
Okay. So anyways, they go to the very end. The therapist or the psychiatrist is in there in the lighthouse inside the hole, talking to the alien or through the alien or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then Lena goes into the hole. You're like, after she looks through this camera thing where she finds out that her
husband
is actually a doppelganger, and her husband actually blew himself up, or so you think, which is the thing is true. Anyways, she goes in the hole, sees the therapist or psychiatrist talking to the alien or talking about something, and the therapist stands up and tells her what she believes. She says the alien has no conscience or whatever,
mm-hmm.
Has no, doesn't want anything, or doesn't no conscious, but it wants to like just deconstruct everything and then rebuild it or something. Is what I understood from it. Anyways, the therapist like explodes into like this rainbow funnel type deal, black hole-ish type deal. Then Lena like looks into it, and a piece of her blood goes into the hole, and the hole like turns that blood into basically a silvery cloned copy of Lena, right?
Yes.
And that's when stuff gets really weird.
Yeah, only at that point does it get really weird.
Well, it's weird because the monster
extra weird, yeah.
Because like the monster isn't like chasing the killer. It's like, okay, I want to say this real quick. This is like the best representation of visual representation of depression I've ever seen in my life. Because like you're running away from yourself and you can't get away. Like the one point when she's like trying to get the door, she gets the door, then her doppelganger like smashes her against the door, or the door she can't like get away. Yeah. And it's like. It's crazy. Anyways.
Well, not only that, but it's also, not only can you not get away, your actions are pushing you further and further into whatever's happening to you.
It's like a web almost.
Yes.
Where the more you move, the quicksand.
Yeah, quicksand's better example.
The more you move, the more like
trapped you are.
You get trapped. Yeah.
Okay, continue.
Yeah. So like you see them. The clone mimicking her, basically.
Yes.
And then at the they're basically fighting, and then eventually Lena hands the clone. Not fighting. It's weird. It's a weird dance. But eventually, Lena hands the doppelganger the same light bomb grenade thing that killed
phosphorus grenade.
Phosphorus grenade that killed the original husband. She pulls it, hands it to the clone. The clone explodes. It's on fire. Lena's running away. The clone is like just catching everything on fire. It goes back into the hole, catches the base of everything on fire, and basically just destroys the shimmer and everything else, that the barrier. And Lena
yep.
goes back, and we see her being interrogated because this movie isn't told linearly. Throughout the movie, you see Lena being interrogated or talked to.
Yep.
She's the only one that's made it out. And basically talking to her, and gets to the point where she's like, "Hey, I want to see my husband." Because after the shimmer went away, he's miraculously fully healed. He's like, fine. She goes and talks to him, and she's like, "You're not Cain. Husband.
You're not Cain.
You're not Cain. You're not Cain, are you?" He's like, "No, I'm not."
Well, he says no.
He says, "No, I don't think so."
I don't think so, because he doesn't know.
He's like, "Yeah." He says, "I don't think so." And then he asks her if she's Lena, and she doesn't answer him. Instead, she goes and gives him a hug. And the camera zooms in on Kane's eyeballs. They shimmer. They like a little glowy, golden glow. And then they turn around on Lena's face. You see, and they zoom in on her eye, and it turns into like a golden
same thing
type deal. Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think happened?
Okay, you ready for this?
Yes, I've been waiting.
Right,
I waited for you to go through that whole thing that we all watched.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so I think the whole point. They kept referencing humans being destructive, and eventually, like humans are self-destructive and go to the drive to like want to commit suicide or kill themselves or whatever. Yeah. And I believe what happened is Lena's clone like got that from her, like adopted that part from her, like that refracted onto her. So the self-destructive part, the clone was reflected on the clone, so that when the clone did blow up, like I think I know what the shimmer, the alien was doing. Like it wasn't just like being stupid and walking around in the hole and burning everything down. Like I think it knew what it was doing. It was okay. It was being self-destructive and just basically burning everything down. I think that is definitely a theory. Because
that is a theory. Yeah.
Yeah, because basically like humans are self-destructive. I think another theory is that by diffracting the therapist or the psychologist that had the cancer, it basically knew that it was cancerous now because like it's sharing all its DNA with everything that's in it.
Yes.
It learns that it's cancerous and then becomes self-destructive. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna end it now. Like basically kill myself or whatever. And I think at the end, I think Kane is the doppelganger. I think Lena is actually Lena, but they've both been affected because Lena has been there so long that she's Lena, but she's not the doppelganger, but she's still very different because she's been exposed to Shimmer for so long. I think that Kane is the doppelganger, but he's also on the same page as Lena because he's like half Shimmer, half Kane.
Okay.
Yep.
So, I think... So a couple of things. I think that not only... Obviously, we learned that inside the Shimmer, inside Area X, that DNA is refracted. Over the course of the movie, you not only see this in all of the creatures they encounter, the crocodile that looks like it has kind of DNA fused with the shark, the bear, which has DNA fused with some other horrific creature, but in addition, Stephanie and her vocal cords. But over the course of the movie, we see that Lena begins to take on like a tattoo on her forearm, right? And she didn't obviously have that tattoo. The initial person that had that tattoo was actually a soldier, the soldier that was cut open by Kane in the like the video footage. And then one of the other people on the expedition, the woman who ended up tying everyone up, also started to adapt that tattoo. And then, of course, after she's gone, Lena adapts that tattoo as well. So this is the first form of refraction. Not only are obviously things taking on the internal DNA of other creatures, but this is being replicated in their physical looks as well. At the end of the movie, I think that is Kane actually the person that was born as Kane? Like, born on Earth as Kane?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure that he blew up with the phosphorus grenade.
He was so calm about it, too. Like, he was like...
It's because he was slowly losing his mind.
Yeah.
Not necessarily losing his mind, but it was kind of becoming unraveled because it was combining with the brain and the memory of everything else that he was encountering. And while I actually don't think that Kane, the one at the very end, right, the one that made it out, I don't think that's a doppelganger necessarily. I actually think that is another person that ended up being on their expedition, and their DNA began to look similar, which is why he looks like Kane as well.
But he has the memories of being somebody else.
In addition, but his memories are so scrambled because his DNA has been fragmented and his mind has been fragmented so much that he doesn't even know who he is, but he does have some memories of Kane. He'd recognize Lena because he does have some memory of Kane. The reason I don't think it's a doppelganger is, one, we know that the physical form begins to be taken on by other human beings. We see that in Lena as she adapts she adopts the tattoo, even though obviously that she didn't get a tattoo. She obviously is not a doppelganger. We know that she is herself from the start until the very end, where it's unclear. But she begins to take on the physical form of another person, and I believe another person in the party that Kane was in began to take on a physical form of him. That's why when the doppelganger, the actual, the alien, took on the form of Lena, it was an exact replication of Lena. The difference is, with Kane, when it took on the form of Kane, they did not look identical. Kane had a beard, a light beard, when he blew himself up, and the doppelganger or whatever other figure had a very light stubble and was mostly clean shaven. Now, if it was taking on the exact form of Cain, wouldn't it had it just adopted it exactly? Like, it wouldn't have needed to grow the beard; it would have just done it, right? I mean, we saw that it clearly grew Lena's hair, and it formed its head into Lena's hair. It could just do that automatically. Why would it need to have a clean a clean face, and then grow hair out of its face? The reason, I think, is because it was another person who was clean shaven, but then started to take on the form of Cain.
Okay.
I also think that obviously Lena is the person that was born as Lena, but by the time they're both out, their mind has been fragmented so much, and some of the alien DNA has been refracted in their own, that it actually doesn't matter what they started as.
I agree with that.
So
even though I think you can definitely argue the other way, because there was one point in time where you lost track of who was who.
Yes, absolutely.
She literally blacked out, and you lost track of which one was which.
Yes.
So
yes, that's. Yeah. I mean, that's true, but when she came to from being blacked out, the other one was in its alien form.
Sure. Yeah, but still, like, you can use. I'm sure there's some other theories.
I think mine's just a theory. The other thing that I also believe is, not only is it obviously physically refracted in the DNA and the physical experience, the physical. I literally can't think of the word. What things look like physically, but it also is done so in the mind. This is why I think that people begin to feed in to what they perceive is going on, and that actually helps encourage that continue to happen. We see that with the soldiers in the videotape. They literally believe they're going crazy, so they feed into that more and begin to go more crazy. It also happens with the girl that ties everybody up. She believes she's going crazy, so it pushes her further into that. Now, obviously, this is just the mind, and we don't see any physical representation of that, but we do see that in Josie, Tessa Thompson's character, because she accepts mentally that she's becoming a part of this planet, of this area,
whatever it is,
and she turns, and she doesn't fight it. So once she accepts that in her mind, it speeds the process up for essentially the mental refraction that is taking place
exponentially.
Exactly. Sure. This also happens with Ventress, Jennifer Jason Leigh's character. We know that she has cancer, right? She goes into the little hole, and she's starting to spout some nonsense. And then, before she eventually turns into the light, she says, because Natalie Portman, Lena says, "What does it want?" And she says, "Annihilation."
Yeah.
Now, when I heard that, I was like, I don't think this thing wants annihilation. Yeah. But you know what? Then I did a little research. There's two definitions of annihilation, Ali, and I didn't know this before today. The first definition is total and complete destruction. That's the one that we're all familiar with, right?
Yeah.
You know what the second definition of annihilation is? This is a physics annihilation.
Creation.
The conversion of matter into energy, especially the mutual conversion of a particle and an antiparticle. When she said annihilation, she meant the mutual conversion of these two particles, one being her, one being the alien particle.
Okay.
She was converted. She was converted from matter into energy, and that's the annihilation that she was talking about. Because she accepted this and willingly knew that she was going to die, she willingly concepted this conversion, and in her mind, again, much like Josie, kind of furthered her ability, or I guess her ability in Area X to turn into this form of light and kind of will herself away.
Yeah. I don't think she did that. I think like just believing it, or just like coming to that conclusion in her mind, be like, okay, this is what's happening. Yep. Just is a catalyst.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying that it is a catalyst. What do you think that what do you think the alien wanted?
I don't think it wanted anything.
Okay.
Per se. Like, I don't think it was trying to kill humans and like rebuild. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I actually think your analogy to Emrakul is pretty appropriate because I don't think it wanted anything either. I think it just wanted to exist, and it wasn't doing anything that was unnatural. It didn't have a conscience. It was simply existing, and other things were changing. Other things were changing around it because that's what it was. That's what it was meant to do naturally. In nature, is that it refracts DNA. It wants to homogenize everything. It wants everything to be combined as one.
We also saw Lena's blood go into the light that
Ventress turned into.
Yeah, the void, the rainbow void light thing, which turned into Lena's doppelganger.
Yes.
Okay, so why do you... Anyways, I guess that's... Do you think that's why that was an exact clone? Because it had her blood? Or
yeah, I actually do think that... I think that because it got some of Lena's actual DNA, it was able to expedite that process significantly.
Okay, so that happened, and then the fight happened, or the whatever you want to call that happened. The dance happened.
Yeah, the dance.
And we'll say the doppelganger or the alien end up getting blown up and like, okay, now do you think the alien going down in the hole and burning everything up was on purpose and not an accident, right?
Yeah, I do, but I actually don't think that it was the fire. I think that might have just been another that kind of was more of a catalyst because once Ventress absorbed its DNA into the kind of the greater DNA of this thing.
Yeah, the alien.
It took. I agree with you that it took on her cancer as well. And I think that might we don't necessarily know that the fire destroyed everything. It obviously makes it seem like that, but we also know that she had cancer, and that's if you're taking DNA, cancer literally is as we see in the very beginning of the movie. Cancer replicates in the exact same way that the refracting DNA does in this movie.
Yeah, so it literally replicates itself. And I imagine with the shimmer, it's probably just
quadruple time.
Expedited.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't actually.
Well, actually, we literally saw. She is zoomed in. We saw her the blood split.
Yes.
And the blood had spikes on it. It was it looked like it was like 2, then 4, then 8, then 16, 32, 64, and they all looked very not violent, but they're wrong.
I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. Obviously, we don't know enough about biology
or biology or anything
to be able to make this distinction. But
it looked wrong to me. And that's where I thought about maybe the cancer thing, but also about maybe because throughout the whole movie they're humans are self-destruction.
Yep.
And so maybe the shimmer adopted the self-destruction of humanity and destroyed itself, but I don't know if that has to do a part of it. But the cancer thing, I definitely think that
that played a bigger part of it.
Had to play.
Yeah, I totally agree. And again,
So do you think that if it eventually had a cancer patient while spreading, it was just going to kill itself?
Or it completely, or alternatively, it refracts other DNA around it to eliminate the cancer.
Can it do that though?
I don't know.
Can you?
I don't think it knows.
Someone that knows about. Well, I think that's come with knowing cancer. Can you actually
Well, yeah, but this is Alien, so
yeah, sure.
I don't think we'll we're not gonna call up our friend the doctor and
phone a friend. Beep, beep,
yeah.
Beep, beep, beep. Yeah.
All right, so Ollie, very important question.
Yep.
What do you think about the movie overall? What is your final ranking using our new Thinktwice movie ranking system?
My final ranking?
Yep.
Actually, I'm gonna throw it to you.
You're gonna throw it to me first?
Yes.
Okay. I've thought about it, and the further away I get from this movie, I watched it with my girlfriend Meredith, but her and I both agree. The farther away we get from this movie, the more we like it because it's so thought-provoking. It also looked awesome. It looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Good cast. I'm gonna put a ring on it. I thought this movie was great. I was very happy.
This movie's actually, I want to say, it's actually the best movie I watched this year.
This calendar year.
I'll say I'll say this is the most intriguing movie we've talked about on the podcast.
Intriguing? Yes, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So intriguing, in fact, that I actually actively want to watch it again to see if I missed anything.
Wow. Turn it over a new leaf. Look at you.
Well, this really happens. Like these types of movies are very rare.
Yes, they are.
Usually, I can't remember the last one that happened like this way. Like I know they happen, but like this one's super rare, and it's like there's hints throughout the movie.
Oh, absolutely. And we just like I think in literally like every scene there's a hint, but you don't know what you're looking for until you know what happens at the end.
Yeah, this movie was. I would also put a ring on it because I literally said I would watch it again.
Yeah.
I want actually actively want to watch it again.
Yeah, that's got to be the definition of putting a ring on it for you.
Yeah, I might. I probably won't watch it again in theaters, but I do want to analyze it again, or at least like scour the
maybe when you can Netflix or Redbox it, you can take a closer look in the privacy of your own home. Start, stop, rewind if you need to go back and look at scenes.
Yeah, for sure. But like you said, the scenery, like it was beautiful. Like the creatures, some of the creatures were beautiful. Like there were deer in there, someone with like their horns had like flowers, and it was like that's a magic creature.
Yes, I mean, it is. It is.
You saw the tadpole or whatever it was, like with two tails. There were a lot of things that were like gorgeous and beautiful, and other things that were horrific. And it was just like showing you what this, again, very much Emrakul-esque, like not trying to destroy, not just being itself, like being
just existing in the only way that it knows how.
Yeah, exactly, and being obviously very, very powerful, but like not in ways of like trying to destroy or create, just doing what it does.
That's pretty good. So that's you heard it here. 2 rings on the finger of Annihilation from Thinktwice, from both of us, which is rare.
Yep, and if that becomes if you defect both of those, they become the Ring of Power from Lord of the Rings.
All right.
Refract. Yep. All right.
Okay. Okay. So I think we could talk about Annihilation for probably like hours.
Yeah, a long time.
We probably will once we take the show off air. But you guys, we'd love for you to let us know what you thought about the movie at jparnell1 on Twitter, at Ali Aintrazi on Twitter, at ThinkTwiceMTG on Twitter. But that's going to be the show for today. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to pose question of the week. See what we have to say in just a minute. Ollie, we're going to try something new for question of the week. We're going to try to put it at the end of the show and see what you guys think about that. So,
are we at the end now?
We're at the end of the show. I know. I know.
All right.
All good things must come to an end. And for this week, question of the week, this isn't going to be one that we're going to answer. This is one we actually just want to know from you. With all the things that have been going on in the world of Magic today, I feel like this is really the only important one to ask. Question of the week is, did you look at the Dominaria release notes? It's pretty simple. We're just curious.
Is this before or after Wizard said to look at them?
Well, it'll have to be after because,
sure.
You know, just in general, have you looked at them? By the time you vote on this poll, have you looked at them?
Have you looked?
Yeah.
All right.
In part and full, this is a open-ended question. I just want to know, did you look at them? Yes? No? We're just curious. We kind of want to just gauge our audience, see where you guys are. This is a really important question of the week because this is obviously something that is going to be a hot topic over the next week of Magic and probably going on for a long time. So let us know. And obviously, if you want to follow us on Twitter and let us know, you can follow Ollie at Ali Aintrazi. You can follow me at jparnell1, and you can follow the show at ThinkTwiceMTG. Ollie, where else can people find you?
You can find me at gatheringmagic.com. My articles come out every Friday. And you can follow me at twitch.tv/Ali Aintrazi.
Awesome. And of course, you can find me on Star City Games and YouTube every Wednesday. I'm the host of the Commander Versus series. We are wrapping up Season 10. We just filmed the season finale, and it is going to be coming out shortly. It was a good one. You should definitely check it out. Before we get to season 11, we may or may not have something coming. You will have to stay tuned to that channel to find out. Spoiler alert. We do. We have something coming. Did you?
It's coming.
Yeah, it's like the infernal spawn of the infernal spawn of evil. Just reveal it from my hand.
Yep. Yep.
Okay. If you want to follow the show, of course, like we said, you can do so at Thinktwice MTG on Twitter. You can also email the show directly, thinktwicemtg@gmail.com. If you want to find the show, hopefully some of you are watching on YouTube, obviously. You can see our faces for this one. We're really excited to be doing this podcast. In the event that something went wrong, you can't see our faces. Maybe that'll happen next week. But hopefully you can now on YouTube. And of course, if you want to listen to an audio form of this, you can do so on SoundCloud and iTunes. We'd love for you to like, comment, share, subscribe. You know, if you listen to Commander Versus, you know the deal. And we'd love for you to share, again, like, comment, share, subscribe. Share is a really important one, too. If you at least have to pick one, that's the one we'd choose for you. You can also support the show, patreon.com, thinktwicemtg, where we have a lot of different support tiers that allow you to support the show in different ways, and when you do, you get stuff back out of it. We're getting ready, actually, we're either getting ready, depending on when you listen to the show, or have already sent out our first batch of playmats to people at our Erebos' Emissary tier. And we have tokens on the way. We're still trying to figure out exactly the best way to print those where they look good, something that we would be proud to give to you. So in the event that you haven't got tokens yet because they haven't been made, we'll make sure they get backlogged. You will get your appropriate tokens. We also
and the appropriate count.
Yeah, the appropriate amount of tokens. That is correct.
Yep.
We also have in development our Deep Analysis Ask Us Anything section. We're going to be hosting that on Twitch. Please keep your eyes and ears peeled. We'll obviously let you know on the podcast when we plan to do that, but it is going to be coming up soon, and we will make sure to get the one that you are owed for February. You'll get that too. So over the next 8 weeks, you'll probably get about 3 of those, which is going to be really exciting for us. But that's the show for today. We want to thank our graphic designer, Amber Wiss. Obviously, you're seeing some of her work now. You can also view more of her work at amberwestdesign.com. We also want to thank our director and producer, John Choi. He provided a lot of the sweet stuff you're seeing this week as well, and we'll be seeing in the future. And of course, we want to thank our Agent of Bolus producers, Josh Lyons and Daniel Hunt. Thank you guys so very much. We want to thank all of our patrons, in fact. For all of you that have stuck around as we're kind of getting this podcast off the ground, you know, we want to thank you for taking the time to support us and support us in full, not just for a single bit of content or one episode or anything like that. And even if you have just done it for one episode, we appreciate that. But, you know, really supporting the show, like, it means a lot to us. And
yes,
it's tough for us to describe how much it does mean. So we just want to try to give back to you in the best way that we can.
Yeah, obviously they all mean a lot, but honestly, the ones that are sticking through every single time, like you guys, thank you. Well, thank you. So thank you very much. We appreciate all of you, but I'm not gonna lie, the ones that are sticking through the whole entire thing, like you guys are great.
You mean a lot. We know your names, and we'll make sure that you are fully appreciated. Like I said, in the best way that we can. So, but that's the show for today. Ollie, I love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
I'm really excited for next week. We've got Dominaria starting back. That's right.
I'm excited too. Let's see. I wonder who we'll start with. Hopefully, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe.
I kind of want Teferi. I just want to just hit the ground running.
All right. All right.
Okay. All right. Again, we love you guys too, and we will talk to you next week.